I'm going to go ahead and announce Derrick Grayson. He's going to come up here. Everybody knows Derrick Grayson. We all love Derrick. He's going to talk to you about the Cliff's Edge. And Derrick is a phenomenal speaker, and he's a patriot, been a part of this movement for a long time. I feel blessed to be able to even be working with him. And I guess, what are we going to do? Is he going to do another song, or? Okay, I got you. All right, so come on up, Derrick. Welcome, Derrick Grayson and the Cliff's Edge. Are we?
How is everybody doing? Let me try that again. How is everybody doing? Oh, okay. I'm going to ask you to do one other thing, and it ain't for me. It's for you. I want all of you to clap your hands. Well, hold up before you clap your hands. You're clapping your hands because you came out. Go ahead. Give yourselves. Come on. Y'all can do better than that, man. Good God. And the reason why I always ask people to clap their hands for themselves is because you are smarter than 90% of those that vote in this country. And of that 90%, I said those that vote, I didn't say the total population, 315 million, whatever that is. We're talking 150 million. You're smarter than 90% of that 150 million. And you're smarter than definitely half of the other ones that vote, because they vote for the Democrats. So that is something to be said. But here's the problem. Now, there's no need in me talking about what Judge Joe Brown talked about, because he knocked it out the park. But you ought to be asking yourself, why are we here? Why are we where Judge Joe Brown said that we are in this country? About to lose everything. Hence, something that Lucretia, Roy, Jerry, and some others, what we're working on, it's called the Cliff's Edge. Now, if you want to check it out, it's on thecliffsedge.com. The country is literally on the cliff's edge. But again, why? I'll tell you something that used to bother me. I ran for office a few times. And when people would hear me speak, they come up to me and they say, "Oh, I didn't know you ran. If I had known you were on the ballot, I would have voted for you." I hope ain't nobody out here ever told me that, because I'm about to offend you. How dumb can you be? My name was right there on the ballot. Did you go and look up and see who was running? Did you check out their platform to see what they stood for? No. You went and you voted for the name that you remembered hearing on the TV and radio, or what the news, etc., etc., etc. We vote out of ignorance. Oh, now here comes the punchline. Who's he talking about, we? See, another thing that upsets me, I just shake my head. What is it when they do SM and they throw the D in the middle, SMDH? That's what I do. I shake my head because I hear many in the Republican Party. I did not say conservatives. I distinguish between conservatives and Republicans. All right. It's the Democrats. It's the Democrats. The Democrats did it. The Democrats did it. The Democrats are why we are. Oh, yeah, the Democrats. I have been hearing that for so long that I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. The Democrats don't have that much power to have brought us to where we are today, at the precipice of destruction. Now, I passed out some push cards Some of you may have them in your hands. If you read them, if you look on the back, you'll see 6 of the rhinos, that's what I call them. Rhinos are simply transgendered Democrats. You will see them on there, but some of you probably voted for one of them. Thinking, well, I gotta go vote red, I gotta go vote red. I'm gonna get to all of that and explain why we are. But sometimes some things requires a little history so that you can get it. Now, I'm gonna say this to Christian people. If you're not Christian, please just ignore what I'm about to say, because it won't matter to you. You know, God blinds and makes people deaf to keep them from the truth. As a Christian, you should already understand, if you have read the book of Revelation, at some point Christ is coming back, and all of this will be done. There ain't nothing any of us can do to stop that. That day is going to come. But it don't have to be in November. Don't have to be in the next 5 years. Don't have to be in the next 10. He said, occupy until I come. In other words, do the work of the Lord until I decide that it's time. So that means there's hope. Let me show you some more hope working. They have tried everything under the sun to destroy Trump. I won't bother getting into all the lies that they have told him, but I was telling some people last year, I said, Trump is not going to prison. God's got him. He is the true Teflon Don. They have come at him talking about he was convicted of rape, but he wasn't convicted of rape. But yet people still believe it. I remember people talking about he was calling for the death of those boys in New York, the New York 5. But everybody forgets that they went and they confessed first. Then he took out that ad. And then later on they wanted to recant. You can go back and look at all of the incidents and see, if you did your research, that it was all a lie. And I knew he wasn't going to jail because all of the cases that they had against him, Trump is that kind of guy. I'm going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And they know when he got there, they would have thrown it out because it was bogus charges to begin with. That's why they haven't gotten him. And the coup de grace, when Trump was up on that stage, God told his angel, Gabriel, you know they're trying to get rid of the guy that's been fighting out. Turn his head. Go, yeah. Right now, turn his head. Turn his head, preserved his life. God has got him. I was done with politics because I was sick of ignorant voters in both the Republican Party and in the Democrat Party. Ain't nothing I can do about those in the Democrat Party. But I was sick of battling with those in the Republican Party over their support for rhinos. Democrats don't have that much power. They have help. We have people that don't understand the basics of economics and accounting. So, I'm going to give you an example. Kamala Harris says, I'm going to put a price freeze on certain things. I'm going to use eggs as an example. Well, guess what? Because of accounting and economic principles, supply and demand, cost of goods sold, anybody that went to college ought to understand that. But I see people with college degrees saying, oh, yeah, that's good. No, it's not, idiot. Because if it costs the grocer more money than he can make on selling the eggs, guess what? No eggs on the shelf. If you raise the taxes on the corporations, guess what? They pass the cost on to you. This is just basic stuff that people don't understand. But these are the people that we have voting. But still, it's not all the Democrats' fault because they have help. The Republican Party, I call it the uni-party. Nobody looks up the voting records of their representatives. They're too busy. I gotta vote red. I gotta vote R. They don't care. But if you understood something, if you took a political science class, you would understand our bicameral form of government, a House and a Senate. Some have certain responsibilities over there. The other has certain responsibilities over there. Typically, you got 6 in one hand, a half a dozen in the other, so they're generally evenly divided. So if we go with the 50-50 number as an arbitrary breakdown, if you understand the 2/3 part of that when it comes to passing something to get it to the president's desk, you understand that in order for a piece of bad legislation to pass in both houses, somebody had to help the other party. Do you understand what I just said? Somebody had to help them. Look on that card that I gave you. There's a guy on there with a 60% constitutional voting record. That means 40% of the time he helps the Democrats. He is voting against the Constitution. Those are the things that screw you over. That is what they do. And they have been doing it. This country has been going down into the abyss since George Bush the first. And I've had people get mad with me about that when I talked about George Bush. And I'll admit to you, I was sick of the Republicans and Bush and his warmongering. And when Trump ran that first time, I didn't vote for him because he was black. I voted for him because I heard something different. Those things that I believed in. Marriages between a man and a woman. Fathers ought to be responsible for their children. So those are all biblical principles. And I heard all of that. And like a fool, I fell for it. Because I had given up on politics altogether then. But I heard it and I voted for him. 18 months later, I said, I'll be damned. Same policies that Bush was pushing when he was a president. It wasn't until Trump got in office that I saw that glimmer of hope. And I'm going to tell you why. If you know anything about Jesus Christ, you heard about the money changers' tables. You have turned my father's house into a den of thieves. He took a whip, a cord, cords made into a whip, overturned their tables and chased them out of his father's house. He overturned the money changers' tables. What do you think Trump did? He overturned the money changers' tables. They didn't like that. Trump messed with trade. He renegotiated that bad deal, NAFTA, that saw our jobs being offshored overseas, corporations being allowed to profit. I could go on and on and on. He messed with the border. Do you think that the border was something that just started? Republicans and Democrats like the border broken because they profit from it. Trump messed with that. What else did Trump mess with? Oh, he overturned Joe Biden's crime bill of 1994. that warehoused Negroes in droves. He stood up and said, hey, you can say Merry Christmas again. Brought the Christmas tree back up in the White House. Oh, and he messed with the war machine. I don't want war. I want peace. I want to end the wars. Iraq was a mess. It was a disaster. I'm going to get us out of Afghanistan. Trump messed with their money changing tables. And he had to go. Rhinos and Democrats wanted him gone. So what does that mean? When Trump won, oh, I forgot to tell you this. I was sold on Trump in the very first debate. When Trump said, because they attacked him, well, you donated to Democrats, but you're running to a Republican now. Running as a Republican now. Trump said, I donated to both parties. For my family, for my businesses, and my employees. I supported whoever was going to make doing business profitable for me. If you wanted me to pay more taxes, you should have elected people that was going to pass laws that got rid of the loopholes. Oh man, I almost fell out my seat. I said, this is the guy who understands. They came at him with everything that they could. And he won. But when he won, oh boy, they pulled a dirty trick on America, and most Republicans still ain't got it yet. When he won, 45 plus Republicans quit. I counted them. I counted them. 45 plus, including Trey Gowdy, the person that everybody loved. I used to call him Bulldog Trey. Didn't accomplish a doggone thing. Didn't stop nothing. Neither are any of the others up there right now. They're just sitting up there asking people's questions and getting them told, but they ain't stopped nothing. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't care if you get mad. I'm that guy that's going to stand up and tell you what's what, whether you want to hear it or not. She ain't stopped nothing. It's still happening. Rand Paul, love him to death, but he ain't stopped nothing. Thomas Massey, love him to death, definitely. But he has stopped nothing. Why? Because of the people that continue to ladle us with rhinos. How can they? They'll vote against the bad bills. But when you got those rhinos on that card here from Georgia, voting with it to help it pass, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to lose. And we've been losing. The only break in this nonsense that we have had, and I'm almost done, is Donald Trump. He put a pause on everything. But in his second year, I realized that we were in trouble. Of course, there was a silver lining. Donald Trump started using a term that I had been using since 2014, rhinos. Ted Metz, where you at? You know what I'm talking about.
Right here.
You know what I'm talking about. I was calling them out back then. That's when I fell out of favor with the Republican Party. Well, Derrick, why don't you pick something else to run for that's further down the trough? These guys have paid their dues. I said, if you don't want to help me, just get the hell out of my way. I'm going to win the right way. I was offered money to drop out. from the president of the Georgia GOP, John Padgett. Oh, I got some stories for you, but I'm not going to get into them now. You probably wouldn't believe me anyway. But know this. When they limited Trump, when them 45 Republicans quit, giving up the House, damn near the Senate, they limited Trump to a 2-letter word. E-O. Or I should have said 2-letter word, right? I should have said the whole thing out. What you think I needed? Executive order. Should I have said executive orders? Was it E-O? Okay. Y'all know what I mean when I say E-O, right? Oh, okay. You know what I'm talking about. So, when they limited Trump to E-O's, I knew right then, Ted, that if he did not win in 2020, the next guy going in was going to undo every damn executive order that Trump had put in place. And guess what? That's exactly what happened, starting with the border. Now here is your charge, and I'm going to tell you now. I called Trump for the win in 2016, and he won. I called him for the win in 2020, and he won. If you don't know that, that's not my cross to bear. And I'm calling him for the win in 2024. But if you, all of you, cast a vote for a rhino when the next midterm elections come up, shame on you, and you deserve what you get. And what you will get are more rhinos that will get in and do what they did to Trump before. They will lock him down to executive orders, and you won't get nothing. Look, half of the people in the country don't understand the basics of economics. They don't care because they ain't got nothing. But the people that go to work, it's your incomes, it's your children's legacies that are at stake in this situation. And if you don't do so, I used to tell people back then, do something different, please. And please don't walk up to me. Hey, you know what? I forgive all those that walked up to me and said, I didn't know you was on the ballot. Even though my name was right there. I forgive you. But I ain't going to forgive a single person that has heard me speak over the last 3 months since I decided to get back out and start speaking. In fact, Lucretia Hughes, Roy Hambrick, Jerry Parrish, and some others. I'm trying to get this guy, Harvey Wysong, to join us. What I want to do with the Cliff's Edge is travel the country and help purge rhinos for the upcoming midterms. That's my mission. I'm not going to run for office again, but I will go and try and educate people on what they do. Now, if you vote, if you support Kemp, you need to check yourself. If you support Raffensperger, you need to check yourself.
Amen.
If you support any of those men on the back of that card I passed out, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that's where you're headed. None of them will help Donald Trump. None of them. I'm Derrick Grayson. They call me TMOT. Thank you so much for listening.
Woo!